What's good, everybody? Welcome to another broadcast here for Fast Break for IE Sports Radio. You are the reach for all sports. Well, D-Locke, we got two franchises, two firings, all in the Southwest Division. We got Nico Harrison gone from Dallas and Willie Green out in New Orleans. So, what you think about those two firings off the top of your head real quick?
So off the top of my head, I think that Nico Harrison was probably coming around sooner if we had already talked about it, most people. And Willie Green, like I said, we talked about it in the last show. I'm not too surprised by that either.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of questioning and stuff like that. Who's to blame? What went wrong in both of these cases? And what do these two teams do for the future? How can they improve their situations? So we'll discuss that much more. LeBron coming back around the corner. How he's going to fit with these Lakers that are playing very well without him. The Detroit Pistons, big time winning streak right now in the Motor City. We'll discuss them as well, and much more here on Fast Break for IE Sports Radio. You're the reach for all sports, and we'll catch y'all on the other side after these messages.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us here tonight on Nerd Broadcast here for Fast Break for IE Sports Radio. You're the root for always sports. Do check out our sponsors. They help us out with the show. The Planet Jerky. Hey, the wintertime, the fall, wintertime kicking in. Some of y'all, I don't know where y'all live out in the country, in this great land of the United States. Well, how great you think it is. Hey, Bonfire season around the corner. Get some beef jerky. Hook it up.
Mm-hmm.
You sitting around your friends drinking coffee, cider, whatever. Get some beef jerky in your system. Have that as a snack as you talk to your friends. Football season, kind of in high gear right now. D-Lock, your Florida Gators lost this weekend. My Tide lost as well at home to Oklahoma.
Close game too.
Close game, and people, some folks, man, get this. I didn't tell you before the show, man. Some folks saying we're gonna blow out Oklahoma. I said, nah, it's gonna be a close game. And lo and behold, they did their thing on defense. But back to the jerky. If your team loses, hey, at least you got the jerky on your side. So hit that website, Plain and Jerky. Go to the plainandjerky.net. Check out the Instagram right there. Great folks. They give you a great follow, great customer service. So do check them out. D-Lock. Last week, we kind of softly talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
And the title of the show is, front office fallout and sideline shakeup. The firings of Nico Collins and Willie Green. We kind of softly talked about this. Last week, we saw the stories, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't see this, stories that Patrick Dumont, the governor of the Dallas Mavericks, he's going to be in town to kind of, see what's going on and then fire Nico Harrison. And lo and behold, Nico was let go on November the 11th. That was 5 days ago from Dallas. I think we all kind of seen this coming somewhat after they traded Luka, and the noise never went away for Nico.
Mm-hmm.
Once that trade happened, the noise never went away. And I think that spelled doom for him. We'll dive more into that here in a second. And then D-Lock, Willie Green.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Green was let go a couple days ago. He was the coach with the Pelicans for like at least 5-6 years, I think, somewhere around there. And I don't know, his firing is I kind of mixed about it. We'll dive more to that in a second, but your two quick thoughts on the firings when you heard the news, in your opinion.
So we talk about Nico first.
Yeah, let's roll with Nico first.
I think the biggest thing with Nico with this is, what you had in Luka. Let's not forget the trade that the Mavericks and the Hawks did for them to trade, switch with Trae Young and Luka. You know what I mean? That draft. We see what Luka ended up being. We thought he was going to be. He was showing what kind of player he was going to be. He was showing that, and he continued to show it over time. I think when that trade went down, obviously see what happened with Cooper Flag for the draft, the lottery. Everybody's thinking like, well, damn, this had to be rigged. You traded away your star player. Go get Anthony Davis. Okay. Your team was just, one of the best teams in the West. I believe they actually went to the NBA Finals. And you move on from this guy. You know what I mean? So a lot of things in our mind is like, well, what the hell is going on with that? Now the lottery comes around, and you hit perfect, and you get Cooper Flag. We feel like you've already replaced him, right? You're thinking in your mind, okay, Cooper Flag is gonna be the guy, X, Y, and Z. Well, right now the question is always gonna remain: well, who has won this trade between Dallas and the Lakers? We see what's going on with LeBron. He's on his way out. He's going to retire soon. Obviously, he's been hurt for the long time recently. So now we're looking like, well, damn, okay, they got Austin Reeves and Luka, But look what the Lakers look like right now with Luka. They are still looking like a competitive team, very much in the West with him and Austin. A lot of people saying that it looks like they're expecting LeBron to take, the back seat to Luka. So this team looks like they're still competing in the West. Let's look at the Mavericks. Kyrie's hurt. He's already been hurt. Anthony Davis comes in. We already know his injury history. Now, we haven't seen Anthony Davis in about a week and a half, longer than that.
I think he'll be out for what Shan was tweeted out earlier today. Let me find that tweet. Yeah, 2 hours ago, he said Mavericks Anthony Davis will miss at least 7 to 10 more days as he rehabs from a left calf strain.
Correct. So now, the person you traded for is out. I think Cooper Flag is just not getting into his groove. He started the season out kind of rough, but he's getting into his groove. Now, as much as Cooper Flag is, we feel like he's going to be that guy, Luka was proven. He's a proven guy. You know what I mean? He can get you 40 at any point. So I think that's the biggest worry moving on from him is knowing that you had a star player there that you're going to build around. We've seen Dirk come through there and what he was. It seemed like Luka was going to be the next guy. You move on, and now you have Cooper Flag, who has a lot to prove. Right now, AD is 30, 31? So you got 31, 32?
Let me double check that.
I think he's about 31, 32.
32.
So he's gonna be gone, So even though you made that trade and you got that lottery pick, I think it's just the fact that we know what you were getting from Luka moving forward. He's gonna be the main piece for the Lakers for years. And you had him in Dallas and you moved on from him. So I think that is something that they're not gonna get over. It's hard to really move on from that. And the fact is the team is just not looking that good. They're actually they're playing Portland tonight. They're 3-10. With this guy, with Cooper Flag. We're talking about Anthony Davis, but we haven't seen him that much yet. We're seeing Daniel Gafford a little bit more, and also P.J. Washington. And my thing is, they've made a hell of a lot of trades recently.
Yeah,
the Mavericks big time to make that move to be an NBA Finals team. You went and got Kyrie, P.J. Washington, and all these guys. Daniel Gafford. Now you make this big blockbuster trade that threw in the mix of Anthony Davis with Gafford, likely. You know what I mean? These guys, and then you got you a star guard already with Kyrie. Just continue pairing him with Luka, but now you bring in Cooper Flag. Who you were not expecting, you were not even sure if that was going to be, a person part of your roster. I think that was something for them to get over. And I think what makes it worse is this 3-10 record.
My initial reaction to Nico getting let go is like when he traded Luka Doncic, and this is after they made the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned, like all these moves, and they made the finals. Luka had a big game in Minnesota to put them in the finals against the Celtics, and Mavs fans were happy. They were celebrating. Formerly with us on Ice Post Radio, our good brother Drewski. I mean, he was at the games, playoffs, all that stuff. Seeing the scene, all that stuff. I've seen some of his videos. He's like, they were live, they were happy, and stuff like that. And then, you kind of hear rumblings about issues between those two guys, Nico and Luka. And we saw we talked about it. We saw the video after they won the Western Conference Finals in the locker room. Luka trying to drink the beer, and I think Michael Finley snatched the beer away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And you had those, kind of had those internal issues with the front office for. And I felt like we discussed this in years past with Luka and the front office issues. I can't remember the guy's name. I had to probably find an article, but there's like another issue with Mark Cuban was still the majority governor or owner of the team. He had issues with another dude in the front office. So, see, like with Luka, he always had issues with the front office with the Mavericks. But I guess, he loved the team, loved the guys. He had Dirk, kind of like a, I guess I won't say guardian, but like kind of like a person he can lean to, kind of made things easier for him.
Right.
And you fast forward to that season, he got traded last year. He was hurt, you heard about the weight issues and stuff like that. And, which Nico is fine, it's fair to call him out on that. Let's be real about that. Mavs fans, y'all can't say, Luka was tip-top shape. He put some little pounds on him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, there's still kind of playoff contention when he's hurt before he got traded. And now, then next thing you know, we talk about on the show here. Like, you look up now, like, damn, this bullshit can't be true.
Mm-hmm.
In which, if you brought Pelinka and the Lakers, I mean, you just hop on that. Like, damn, if Nico was doing, and we talked about on the show, like, Nico was selling Luka to the Bucks and the T-Wolves. They both said no. Now, I really can't blame those franchises. It's fair to say that you would do that. And I will tell. But you can't really blame those two franchises. But for the Lakers, they swapped Anthony Davis. And this is like the time, remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time that Anthony Davis was still bitching and moaning by getting another big man so he can move to the 4.
Yes.
Now, funny enough, he gets moved and he goes to a place that, you got 2 big men there to play he can play the 4 freely, so that's perfect for him. But now you do the trade. Anthony Davis looked good that first game, but after that, he went hurt, and then Kyrie hurt. Klay Thompson is shell of his former self. It's just like, I understand. Y'all see this right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Pistons fan. On my other TV screen right here, I'm looking at, at times. You got the Eagles and Detroit playing. A few years ago, the Titans trade raid during the NFL draft, A.J. Brown to the Eagles. Big time move. This is after the Titans and A.J. couldn't make a contract happen and they traded to Philly. Y'all remember, fast forward that same season, these two teams played up in Philly and A.J. had a big game. Now remember this, the owner of the team, Amiana Strunk, was there. And after that game, that following Monday, Tuesday, whatever, she let the then general manager, John Robinson, go. Because if you saw what the product was after A.J. Brown, Traylon Burks never panned out. He washed out the team. The offense looked kind of bleak, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, Patrick Dumont showed up, looked around, and like, you know what? We can't do this no more. We're 3-10. The Mavericks are playing the Blazers right now. They're losing by 4 points right now. PJ Washington by himself has 5 turnovers. Some reason or another, Jason Kidd is hell-bent and trying to make Cooper Flag a point guard, which he's not.
Just stupid.
So it's just like a hot mess with the Mavericks right now. And
Yes.
I think that's what Nico created, a hot mess. And kind of like what John Robinson did past couple of years, he created a hot mess that the Titans are currently in a hole right now. So I hate to keep the basketball, but if I had to draw from experience, look where Philly at. Look at Philly at now. 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1-1 with AJ Brown toe. Now everything's sunshine and roses right now with Philly, but hell, at least you win.
Right.
That's the main thing. You talk about on the show. We brought that on the show. Winning cures all. The Mavs ain't winning right now.
Nope.
And now you're in the division with Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs kind of really ascending. The Rockets up there with them. The Grizzlies, I don't know what the fuck going on with them. Then the Pelicans, we'll talk more here in a second. But back to Nico, though. You got lucky getting Cooper Flag. The NBA threw him a bone there. But this is like to me, D-Locke, it's like the injuries to a lot of guys like Gabbard, Derek Lively. Like Derek Lively is let me check. He is playing, but he's been out, in and out the lineup. Gabbard, in and out of the lineup. Anthony Davis, in and out the lineup. Kyrie won't be back to the new year, where February or January or February. Dante Exum out. So just a lot of guys been in and out that lineup. Then you start hearing about Nico's player evals. He got like guys like Drew Holiday up with the level with Jokic out of Denver. Which I love Drew Holiday, but he's not there up there with Jokic.
Nah, no way.
And I just think his thought process and what he's trying to do as an NBA GM kind of really did him in, up to this point. And now, now this guy's out of job after just a few years in.
It backfired. I mean, you went and got, that's a huge risk, man. I mean, for one, I think the biggest thing is you don't know if you're going to get that lottery pick. So I think what saved him longer is that lottery pick. That just gave Baltimore time. You just moved on. You got Kyrie that's going to be hurt for a while. Same team that's went to the NBA final that you had. You felt like you probably wanted a defender down low. Went back and traded AD, but you gave up basically one of the players that's literally the face of the NBA. Who really can be that. You moved on from that, and now you probably are sweating pins and needles. And then now the lottery goes around and you get lucky. Now your luck runs out there because now you have these injuries. Obviously, everybody that watches NBA, I'm pretty sure a lot of people in that front office, they know about Anthony Davis' injury history. So now this guy that you traded for is on the shelf along with your other star guard. So you're putting that rebuild mode into your rookie number 1 pick. Now, Brandon Williams is playing pretty well. Yeah. Klay Thompson is there, but he's a shell of himself. He's slowly, we can all see he's literally close to retiring. So to me, I think that move did not help. You know what I mean? So now shoot, now you're 3-10. Oh yeah, somebody got to take the blame. Somebody definitely got to take the blame.
And just look at the Mavs roster. I mean, if all these guys were healthy and stuff like that, you're not forcing Cooper Flag to play point guard. You got Kyrie there, okay, and then you put Cooper Flag more on the wing, and you got Kyrie as a creator to help get Cooper Flag in nice half court sets and nice shots in the half court. You got that right there. And then by that way, you create open looks for Klay Thompson, DeAndre Russell off the bench, all that stuff. Max Christie as well. And then and those guys off the wing, the PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, Gafford, and Lively down low. And then you're surprised the guys that come on real nice, like Brandon Williams and Najee Marshall. That's not a bad depth right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad roster if you really look at it. But those guys just stay hurt.
Yes.
And I'm gonna bring this point right and to the chat real quick. Marcus Los Great brought this interesting point right now, and as you see around college basketball, these freshmen really kind of taking off this year.
Yes.
And he brought up, there was some stories floating about it. I'm gonna ask you this: would you trade Kyrie AD for picks? Kind of like if you're Michael Finley and the other guy who's taking over. Let me pull his up name. Michael Finley and Matt Riccardi.
Mm-hmm.
If you're those two guys, and if you can convince Patrick Dumont, hey, we're 3-10. Let me pull up the standings real quick. We're 3-10 right now. We're right there with Sacramento and New Orleans. Only teams worse than us are the Wizards, Pacers, and the Nets. I got a good class. We got potentially a good class coming in. Boozer's kid, who's playing out of his mind. AJ DeMesta. The kid from Kansas, I can't think of his name right now. Matter of fact, I said the list. Hold on. That kid from Arizona, Pete. Let me see. Let me make sure. Boom, I got it. Here we go. You got Cole Pete out of Arizona, Caleb Wilson, North Carolina, Okore out of Stanford, A-Cup out of Arkansas, Adavelis out of Virginia Tech, who's like a 6'9", 6'8", point guard, kind of like Luka, but kind of more athletic. Cillian out of Georgia Tech, Lee Thomas out of Arkansas, Eli Ellis out of South Carolina. So you got a lot of freshmen there that have been playing very well. Will you sell those two guys to get more picks for the Blue Line Flag? Your opinion on that?
I would say slightly too soon. I give it a little bit more time. Obviously, trade deadline is coming around, but at some point. But I will give it more time seeing what Cooper does with this team. I mean, you do have a few pieces. I think Brandon Williams is a pretty solid player on this team. My thing is, I wouldn't disagree with that, especially if this team continues to drop down and you're in that rebuild mode. And I'm calling around and seeing what teams would be interested, in these pieces. I think that you, like like you said, there's so many good pieces, good young people athletes that you compare Cooper Flag with. Why not go full rebuild? Now, also with that, I think if you do that now, when you make that kind of move, you gotta realize, like, when you get in that rebuild mode, the players are gonna stay longer, which means that now somebody in that front office probably has to go. So if you do get in a rebuild mode, okay, cool, you got your new GM, but how long does Jason Kidd stay there? Do you give him the time to rebuild that team? Or do you kind of move on from him? You know what I mean? So I think that's not a bad idea. It's just when you do that, now I think, okay, cool, you've already let go your old GM. Now what happens to anybody else in that front office if a year or two goes by and they have not made that huge jump just yet? Now somebody else has to get removed or relieved of their duties.
If Nico was there, I don't think, if you're Nico, you don't consider it because you made this move. You kind of want to see it through.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're okay, the other two guys, Finley and the other guy, you may have to consider it just because, like, just look at the standings right now. I'm not saying they can catch up, but damn, OKC's 13-1. The Nuggets are 10-2. Houston 10-3. The Lakers 10-4. Spurs 9-4. I know it's early in the season, but as we can see, if you're in a hole right now, I don't think you can catch your breath and get up. Maybe you can, maybe you're not. But you got to at least keep pushing 50 games and at least make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough out here. The Clippers just broke a losing streak not too long ago. And for them, they have to win. Because their pick goes to the OKC Thunder. And God forbid another nice, talented young player goes to the OKC Thunder. And they'd be dominating the league for years if they hit and the way they've been hitting the draft picks. So if you're the Mavericks, I'll say this, man, you got to bottom out best you can. Try and get some draft capital and go from there. Because, like I said, OKC hold a whole lot of picks. The Lakers got Luka. San Antonio got Wemby. Minnesota got Ant-Man. The Warriors, they kind of, at least they got Steph Curry and all them keeping contention, but they got some questions to look for down to the line.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like you got to do something. And I think you saw how AD. You wait till Kyrie gets back to see how that looks, and you just go from there. Start PJ at the 4, and just keep pushing. Or will we get back and trade for Anthony Davis and keep pushing, trying to find a decent guard in return. I know a lot of people have been kind of fancy trading Anthony Davis back to Chicago. Do you send to Chicago? You send back like Kobe White, Patrick Williams, and a first-round pick in return for Davis, possibly, and just keep pushing from there. But I would do the trade. Me personally, at least I'll look and trade to AD and tell how I am. Kyrie, I will wait only because I like to see what an actual point guard like Kyrie could do with Cooper Flag.
Yes.
Because, you know,
what, 30? He's 30. Let me double check.
He
33.
Ooh, damn, 33.
Yeah.
So I'll look into that, in my personal opinion. That's just me.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think, you know, right now, like you said, 3-10. OKC, they on a heater right now. They're a very young team too. They're looking really, really good right now. Right now, I think that Phoenix actually looks pretty good as well. So to me, I mean, it is something that you would consider because this was a team that was just in the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do make that move, that's what I said. That's one of the boldest moves that you can make, and what it does for your future. You know, already knowing what the Mavs had, now you're in the level of, okay, cool, we got to start to think about it as if this could possibly be where you're moving on and kind of starting completely over. So a guy like Anthony Davis, see what you get out of him. All them damn bigs they got, like, you know, where are you going with all these guys? You know what I mean? So it's a good, like I said, it's something that they got to consider, especially now that you've got rid of the guy that basically moved on from your future. So you already got in that rebuild mode. You might kind of want to start that, especially with this young and very talented draft class that's coming up. Like, it's a lot of pieces up in this draft class. You know what I mean? So why not look at it like, okay, damn, like, you know, Kyrie's 33, AD's 30, 31, 32. Cooper Flag is very young. I got somebody that I kind of could build around. Shoot, go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, start to think about the future completely. Like I said, doing that would be a great idea. But now you're looking at, well, who the hell else about to get moved out of this office in a couple of years? Because when you get in that rebuild mode, you got to have those young pieces or those young pieces, and also that coach that you're going to trust to stay and continue to build with that roster. I just think that if they do that, I think if they do look at trades, I think Jason Kidd will probably definitely be out the door soon within the next year.
I think I read something that Kidd maybe moved to the front office, but his coaching thus far this season has not helped.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned about Cooper Flag being point guard, that's not helping anybody.
Nah.
So I think if you throw D'Angelo Russell out there for a time being, or the other kid, what's his name? Been playing pretty nicely. Brandon Williams, throw him out there, see what he does, and keep it pushing from there. I think that'll be this best route to go. To finish this up, this is what Patrick Dumont, the owner, said. He addressed Nico's firing in the letter to fans, emphasizing accountability and a renewed commitment to building a championship caliber team. He acknowledged the frustration of the fan base after the Luka Doncic trade and promised transparency and investment in the franchise's future. Your thoughts quickly on that comment there.
I just think that it made sense. I mean, right now, you know, they could not get over the Luka trade. And what makes it worse is, I mean, we can look at what he's putting up 30 plus a game right now. He's leading this team. Now, what's not helping is LeBron is out. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that LeBron is out, that actually has them, he's, you know, cooking even more. But again, I think that move is, okay, damn, like, we done moved one of the best players, literally a player that you can literally build your franchise around. And I don't know, you moved him to one of the most prized team franchises that is going to look for a future player. Like, we all knew once Luka got over there, that's exactly what we see the Lakers do.
Lakers got lucky.
Yes. They go get a player. They usually get a player They had Kobe for a while. Now they replace him. Get another superstar. That continues to happen. And they found somebody who probably shouldn't even entertain that shit at all. He goes in and makes his trade and think it's probably one of the best moves he's seen. He's done. So to me, I understand the fan base is frustrated because they're seeing what Luka's doing in LA and not getting anything in return with AD, who's literally sitting on the bench on a shelf most of the time along with Kyrie.
And then I saw pictures of during this game on the bench with a Green Bay Packers jersey on. But I'll put a bow on this. Carly Ursay Gordon, if y'all not familiar with her, she's one of the owners now for the Indianapolis Colts, who took her once her dad passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all know about her, she's the one on the sidelines with the headset, all that, this kind of, listening to the game, taking notes, all that good stuff. She said something about like a month ago. I don't know if you saw this or not, but since she and her sisters took over this franchise, she made a point, like, if I'm going to do this and keep this team, I need to know what the hell is going on the field and off the field. If I'm going to put millions of dollars, the team's worth billions of dollars. If I'm going to put millions of dollars into these coaching staff, players, etc., I need to be on the field, listening to what they're doing, play calling, all that type of stuff, and then we talk about it. She brought that up. And I thought, like, damn. I thought that's a good point. If you're new to this and all that stuff, I think you should be doing that.
Yes.
The Mavs got bought for what? For Mark Cuban, what? For billions of dollars. I think at least what? Like $5-6 billion, somewhere around there. When he sold. So if you're, I forgot the lady's name who's the real owner of it. I know she's an Israeli lady, like worth billions of dollars, and Patrick's married to the family. But my point is, if y'all gonna buy into the stuff, like, do your research or be a part or learn or something. Like with Patrick about the Luka trade, he's like still acting like he got caught off guard and stuff like that. Well, dog, Nico probably went to you about this trade about at least a few times before the facts got sent.
Yes. You still ran it.
You're the majority governor. Yeah, Mark Cuban's a minority, and Mark Cuban said, well, if I had known, I would have done it. Shut up. Mark. If you're Patrick Dumont, you're the owner now. This shit runs through you. You got the final say on this stuff. Nico had to run it through you first. He can't just do things without your permission. And something like this would definitely need your damn permission.
Correct. Especially a big move like this, a huge move like this. And I think he's trying to cover his own. Ass with that too. Also, you know what I mean.
And Marcus, like,
yeah. Somebody got to get, like I said, somebody got to get the blame for it. We always see it. You know what I mean? So so Brian Daboll just got fired, yes?
Yeah.
I talked about this soon as Saquon got went to the Eagles. There's no way in hell that man should have been a Philly. There's no way.
Oh, no.
So, very similar situation. Saquon walks, and I don't know if a lot of people remember, but that was a Hard Knocks. So the owner was up there. He was talking about if he goes, he literally said that if he goes to Philly, he's going to have a hard time sleeping. Bet he goes there, right? He goes there, and you put your money onto Daniel Jones, and now not only is Daniel Jones, he played trash, he's somewhere else, and he looks different. So somebody got to take the fall for this. Somebody got to take the fall. This is what this is. So it's a very similar situation.
And the general manager stays somehow.
Yeah. Well, he knows that his, again, chain of command. Let me go ahead and let this dude go before I get the call that I'm let go. So that's how that kind of played out. And Nico making that decision, somebody had to be the scapegoat. And obviously fans hearing about it, they're going to have a lot of issues with that trade, especially when they're seeing what they're getting in return. So to me, I think that he was trying to find a scapegoat. It had to be Nico. And like I said, I think that was something that was talked about over and over, because there ain't no way that you just pulling a trigger on this trade and it's not being discussed.
So, I mean, Patrick Dumont, he can say what he says, but you're the owner, dog.
Mm-hmm.
You're the owner.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if they're trying to take their value to go. There's rumors that they're trying to tank the Mavericks' value to move them to Las Vegas, which would be just dumb to do, in my opinion, because Dallas is a good media market, and so why are you going to do that? But anyways, to put a bow on this, man, bad look for Patrick, and then trying to talk to fans and stuff like that. You hear the fans. They say fire Nico all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The message is not clear. You don't need to bring somebody down to talk to him, all that stuff. You don't need to do that. You see the videos, stuff like that. They brought the damn casket to American Airlines Arena during the summer. You hear the noise. Cooper Flags bomb, retweeting shit, and then she trying to backtrack. Like the noise is there, And I think, like I mentioned about the Ursay daughter, you got to be involved. You got to know what the hell is going on. If not, this needs. When we see bad owners in pro sports, you being like stuck in the mud for years on end. And the Mavs, should be a franchise that should not be stuck for years on end. But D-Lock, that segment went a little long. Let's take a break real quick. On the other side of things, we'll talk about Willie Green being let go from New Orleans and the ramifications of that, and then scores and news around the league. But this is a fast break here for Ice Sports Radio. You're for all sports. We'll catch you on the other side.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back here on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. You follow iSports Radio on social media feeds, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Click the notification bell. When any of our shows go live here on the network, you'll get the notification. The 3-and-Out series, recapping the week that was, and football as well. Our soccer show, volleyball, baseball. I know baseball just wrapped up, but the offseason, I think, going to be add some movers and shakers there. So do keep up with all that, and all you ladies news on the network as well. Check out the website. It will be up and rolling maybe next year around maybe January, February. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. D-Locke, not only that Nico got let go, but Willie Green got let go as well. Willie Green was let go from the Pelicans. Let me get my thing right here. He was fired November 15th after 2-10 start, including three 30-point losses in the first 6 games. Your reaction to Willie Green finally being let go after being kind of that hot seat for the past couple years. Your thoughts on him being let go?
I think the biggest thing for me is Zion has a lot to do with this. At the end of the day, that's just what that is. I mean, Zion is not panned out. Let's just being honest. He hasn't panned out where we've expected. This Pelicans team, they're actually playing the Warriors tonight. They're 2-10. So to me, I think that along with that, you've had a numerous amount of people come through New Orleans. DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Zion, Anthony Davis at some point, who was also obviously included in that big trade. Brandon Ingram. A lot of these guys, and it has not panned out at all.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, as much as he plays a part with this, I'll tag Zion on this as well. The high expectation. And like I said, when we talked about the Mavs, once you start that rebuild, how long is your coach going to be there? How long is he going to be there? Or is he going to be the guy that goes through that weather and that storm? So for me, I'm not shocked. I mean, I think it was coming, being the fact that literally everything that we talked about by Zion was about off the court stuff. We talked about this guy dealing with some adult star off the court. This guy is not in the best shape that he should be in. Just so much different things, right? And for me, the coach is the one that's going to play a role in that. I'm a coach now, and I have a responsibility for my athletes. They have to move a specific way. If there's things that's off the field issues, that's definitely not going to help anything. If they have off the field issues and the results are not there, now that's a double no-no. So that's me thinking that as a coach part. But now we're talking about somebody that has the number 1 draft pick in Zion with these high expectations. So for me, this was in due time. This was brewing. And I say that because it's just the fact that he has not panned out at all. He hasn't. That's just facts. So now that he hasn't, they're going to have, again, somebody has to be the fall guy. So, and knowing what Joe Dumars is going to do, he wants to go ahead and put the right guys in there. But, continuously having the number 1 pick in Zion, having off the field, off the court stuff, and you're not winning, somebody has to be let go. And it definitely was going to be Willie Green.
I think for Willie Green, let me pull up Zion's numbers. This is, availability on the court. Let me pull that up real quick for everybody. Now, Since he's been in the league since 2019, 20, his rookie year, 24 games. The next year, 61. And I think that's where he got that sham all-star nod. 22, 23, 29 games. 2023, 2024, 70 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then so far this year, with 2024, 2025, 30 games. 214 games thus far in his career. And when he's out there, hey, he's a difference maker.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But, you know, if you're not available, you can't help out my squad.
This is true.
And then, you know, not ain't that, but you see like the lower leg injuries and wherever's going on within the weight issues, that's not helped him.
Nope.
And if you're Willie Green, like, hey, I mean, yeah, you're supposed to coach and you're supposed to overcome these things, but damn, if I can't have my star player here, what we doing? I can't get a full look.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of all that, the supporting cast that been brought in for the past few years. Brandon Ingram, same thing. In and out of the lineup. CJ McCollum the last year there and the year before. In and out of the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't got the numbers in front of me, but those guys did not play a lot together with the Pelican uniform. Draft picks that you picked really hadn't panned out. Kyra Lewis playing the G League. Dyson Daniels, you traded him to Atlanta to get Dejounte Murray, and he's really flourishing very well in Atlanta. Murray's out with the ACL injury. Herb Jones last year missed a lot of time. I kind of see where I'm going with this. A lot of guys I'm naming out missed a lot of time in New Orleans. You know, Josh Hart, you had him, but then you let him go to New York.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the center position they never really got right there. It's like a carousel of guys in that center position that doesn't really stick. So as we talk about this team, and this team is playing, pull it up. They're playing the Warriors right now at home. No Zion, Kevon Looney's not playing. You know, Jeremiah Fears, 11 points for him. Herb Jones, 6. Who's out?
Jordan Poole.
Oh, yeah. That's another one. Jordan Poole, he's out. You know. So just like a lot of dudes has been in and out the lineup with this team is just like, how I'm supposed to have the best potential and these dudes are out every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, as a coach, you're supposed to figure things out. Yeah, you can question some things Willie has done, but damn. The names I just named out have not been on the court together. And the one time that the Pelicans had those guys all together, I think it was a few years ago, that they were sitting top of the West. So I don't know what New Orleans does. I mean, you got Joe Dumars now in the fold of things, but this team,
a disaster.
I don't say it. They salvageable, but I don't know, man. It's just like Do you sell high on Zion? Is my next question. Talk about it with Anthony Davis. And I know that's a possibility, but do you sell high on Zion? Because we've talked about the last segment.
Mm-hmm.
Victor Wembanyama didn't play for the Spurs tonight, and they still won. LeBron's been out, and they still winning.
Mm-hmm.
The Pistons been losing. Some of those three key guys been out, and they still freaking winning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know you can win without your star players. Yes, that's been proven in the league. But damn it, if they can't be on the court, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
do you sell high on Zion? See how things have went for him the past few years.
I'm probably getting off, dude, man, to be honest with you. I mean, and the reason why is because we talked about this draft class being very talented. I think Zion has shown that he can be pretty good in the league. It's just, what are we getting at? Where can we get this consistency? We haven't got this consistency. You talk about him missing time. Cade Cunningham missed some time. But then when he got to actually, now look at him now. He's looking like one of the best guards in the league now, consistently. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest thing that I don't see from Zion right now is just the consistency of health. And maybe, like I said, the off-the-court stuff doesn't help that at all. So with this draft class coming around, it seems like they just drafted Zion. You know, they got the lottery pick. You know, we talked about the trade that they got with Anthony Davis. But now you're having a new coach. If I'm, like I said, getting hired, I want to have my guy that I pick in or that I want. You know what I mean? I want to kind of put my roster not fully together, but I want to have a say so in who is on this roster, because right now Zion is not showing you the consistency that we want to see. Maybe not. And maybe it's just time for a new scenery. Maybe he goes somewhere else and he looks totally different. You know, but at this point, you know, we talk about this draft class with Boozer Twins and a lot of other people. I'm probably gonna move off this guy and kind of like just, hey, this is what this is. Listen, Zion is up. What can we get? You know, because again, you're in that kind of rebuild. It's like you still rebuilding. You're still waiting for this guy to get consistent, and we're not getting that right now. That's just facts. We haven't gotten it. So to me, yeah, brother, man, you know, teams call around. Let's call teams around and see what they are willing to get for Zion. Maybe he needs to move somewhere else to kind of start over. Especially the new head coach, whoever they bring in. I'm definitely like, nah, I see what's going on with him. If there's any way I kind of get this fixed, but I rather want to get the guy that I have drafted.
Yeah, they tried. I think that's the main thing. Like, you tried. And, you know, maybe it's the training staff is not working out for him. I don't know. But you tried for years, and it just never really panned out. I don't think it's a bust, but it's just like it's not really panned out.
Nope.
Now, the main question, if you do try to sell high on him, where can you sell him high to?
It will be interesting.
That's the main thing. And can you try, if you try to trade him away, can you get a pick out of this 2026 draft class? That's the main point, because you trade away your pick away for Derek Queen to the Atlanta Hawks, excuse me. So you did that to get Derek Queen. Now, Derek Queen tonight, you know, so only had 3 points and 5 rebounds, which should be better against a Golden State team that really don't have no damn bigs.
Yes, correct.
I mean, yeah, they got Al Horford, but I mean, you get my drift.
Yes.
But also, shout out to Moses Moody, 32 points so far for the Warriors, 4 rebounds and 3 steals.
He's cooking hot.
So shout out to him. Maybe he'll get out of Steve Kerr's hell. But anyways, if you trade him, you got to at least get at least a 2026 pick back.
Oh,
now, I know the Falcons, say the fucking Falcons again, but the Hawks are looking to maybe trade Porzingis. If you can, and y'all been good trading partners between yourself and the Hawks, maybe Zion or Porzingis in your own pick back, and you sell to the Hawks, hey, if he's healthy and stay out of trouble, I know I'm talking about Atlanta here, but he into that freak shit, just keep out the clubs there. I think you may have something. Give it, we'll take Porzingis out of your hands and somebody else, but give our pick back for Zion. Call it even. You need to sell tickets in Atlanta, and I think he can do that. Him and Trae Young.
Oh yeah,
great pairing right there. That's one way to look at it. Or you can wait until the summer and then wait till see how the draft lottery works, and whoever is not and whoever's in the top 4, if you can try to swing a trade with them, do that. But you got to sell high on them. Yeah, it's over. Maybe you can get the Brooklyn Nets to bite on it. That's the only thing I can see. And they got a lot of draft capital in space as well. That's the only other team I see. But other than that, I don't see anybody else. Maybe the Miami Heat. They've been a star player for a while. But those 3 teams, the Hawks, Heat, and the Nets, those are the ones I see maybe taking a chance on him.
Yeah.
I don't see nobody out west.
Nah.
Taking a chance. Maybe the Clippers, but would you take back a Kawhi Leonard contract or whatever? Hell no.
Nah.
So I'll let that last word. What's next for the Pelicans in your eyes?
Like I said, I think they go in rebuild mode. I think they go into that mode of rebuild. I think that, again, whoever this next coach is, maybe he possibly do consider moving on from Zion. It's going to be very interesting who looks for that job. I think you have a coach that may be interested in that job and saying, okay, damn, I got Zion on this team, and I got Queen. I got something that I got something I can work with.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think that they have to consider, what they're going to do with that. Because, again, we're not talking about it in the East either. You know what I mean? We talk about the West where it's already loaded. You know what I mean? The Spurs just look like a hell of a much better team right now already. You know what I mean? They just got Wimpy. So you're going to have to make these moves moving forward. The Lakers got their star moving forward. So, what do they look like when they say, okay, cool, we're going to go make a move on moving Zion, depending on who this coach is. I think that's something that could possibly be considered. So just got to see, man. I think in my mind, I think Zion is on the short leash as well.
Well, we'll see. Ownership seems like they value him so much, but the return hasn't really Like, and I questioned this years ago. We talked about this years ago. I still question why they gave him that contract extension when he really had showed that to be that dude. Like, are we just doing this because of vibes or
Yes.
his potential? Was driving nuts about the NBA. That's one thing about I can't stand what the NBA does with some of these young guys. They give these big old contract extensions, and then some work out, some don't, and then and then next they write articles saying it's bad contracts. Well, you can't blame the players taking these deals,
Mm-hmm.
and you hoping that they'll break through, but some of these guys don't break through.
Nah, yeah.
And we did a whole 2 years ago. Did a whole show about John Morant and Zion just acting a fool. A show about those two dudes. With Zion, his off the court stuff is kind of really coming in the forelight, and his spin habits. And then John Morant on the other side acting a fool, thinking he's the king of Memphis.
Yes.
So it's I hate, and like Marcus brought up in the chat, it's like you like to do, but damn, you gotta go, man. I don't know if the Benson family's gonna do that, but time will tell. In the next several months, how things go, and when he comes back and play, how is that going to affect things?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to play a huge role. Like I said, I just think that they got to decide, for one, who is going to be that coach and what he's looking for. But it is a very interesting job. It's just now you got to, in a sense, you got to start somewhere where you're going to build somewhere, rebuild a little bit. And for me, I'm starting from scratch. I'm coming in, I'm seeing what's going on. I'm probably having a conversation with Zion, see if there's a possibility of working together. But if not, we getting ready to get our own guy.
Before I do want to talk about this team before we get out there, D-Locke. I thought about talking about LeBron, but I don't think we're gonna get to it tonight. But we gotta talk about the Detroit Pistons. They are white hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Winners of 9 straight. Playing excellent ball. Last game against the Philadelphia 76ers on Friday on the 14th. They win 114-105. Now, in this game, Kate Cunningham did not play. And Duran did not play. Tobias Harris didn't play. Jalen Ivey didn't play. Marcus Sasser didn't play. And Sor Thompson did not play in this game. That's a laundry list of players and dudes that didn't play for the Pistons, but they still won by won by 9, excuse me, but almost double digits. Javonte Green, 21 points for him, 9 rebounds. Dennis Jenkins, player at St. John's, had 19 points for the Pistons there. 15 for Duncan Robinson. Holland had 9 points for the Pistons there. Off the bench, Carlos LeVert, 14 points. Isaiah Stewart, 14 points. 7 rebounds there as well. On the Philly side of things, Edgecombe had 18 points. Maxey had 31. Andre Drummond, 12 and 11 for him. No Joel Embiid in this matchup. For the Sixers to keep a note. But D-Locke, we're games in. The Pistons are 11-2.
Mm-hmm.
Only like 1 game behind the OKC Thunder. Your thoughts on the Pistons' early season success?
Very much shocked. I wasn't expecting this huge jump from the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham needs to be in the running for MVP.
You think so?
He's playing extremely well, man. I mean, if you look at his numbers, he is literally doing everything for this team. A person that's playing a huge part in that, obviously, is Jalen Duran. He's playing very well also. Isaiah Stewart, is trying to be consistent. I think he's been out a couple games, but they're playing pretty well, man. But I think the lead dog in them is Cade Cunningham, and they're in that winning. That culture of winning is there. Speaking of the Pistons, that's actually what I'm having in the background. Is a bad boy Pistons back with Isaiah Thomas and those guys. This team right now is on a heater. I mean, they're playing very good. Duncan Robinson is coming in, making shots when needed. I think missing Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham for a while, like you said, you think that this team would take a drop back, but they haven't. And the other guys they got on the roster are stepping up. Karis LeVert is coming in and having some key plays when needed also. So for me, I'm shocked, man, that they're this damn good right now. I wonder how far in the playoff did they go? Where do they see? How can they continue to keep this up? You know what I mean? So for me, I think that this team is a pretty solid team, and they're playing extremely well, man. I'm definitely shocked by it.
For me, real quick, I think, and this is a quote from JB Bickerstaff and guard Dennis Jenkins. They describe the team as nasty dogs, scrappy, relentless, and tough. Kind of always been like that Detroit motto. We're being real.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the bad, like you mentioned, about the bad boy Pistons. That group. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Rodman, Rick Mahorn, Bill Laimbeer, those guys there. Their scrappiness and toughness, won them 2 NBA titles back to back. And then, you had the Grant Hill years, Jerry Stackhouse, Allen Houston, those guys there. After that, kind of a little drop off there. But then Larry Brown gets in charge. You sign guys like Ben Wallace. You make a move for Hamilton. You get Chauncey Billups, playing well for Minnesota. Drafting Tayshaun Prince was just kind of like a perfect piece right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next thing you know, you win the championship and you're always in contention for the Eastern Conference those next several years. Scrappy, tough. Forgot about Rasheed Wallace. Adding him to the mix.
Right.
So, you're scrappy, tough, and contended for years, and then, those guys got older and Bill Wallace left, and then Joe Dumars, who did very well constructing that team, also kind of hurt it with the drafting and signing of certain guys as well, in which he kind of got left out of the job, for many years. But now, this team has kind of been in the mud for the past few years, drafting Cade Cunningham. You had Stan Van Gundy there, which didn't pan out. Now you got Bickerstaff in charge. Now you've been a lottery for the past few years, and now these guys are really kind of finally coming to their own. We talked about the show a couple of years ago, like that long-ass losing streak they had. 20-plus games. And, if you're going to grow as a team, those type of things, you got to take some lumps.
Mm-hmm.
And, last year they made the playoffs and they took it to the Knicks. Now you kind of see the maturing process. Okay, we made the playoffs. That's one goal. Now can we build upon this? And they've done a great job this far this year. Like you mentioned, Cade Cunningham really come to his own. Sir Thompson, probably we talking about one of the better defenders in the league. Jaden Ivey, still questions there. We'll see how that pans out. Marcus Sasser, a nice guard off your bench. I think they need to find a little more shooting because it's kind of lacking, and you can't really depend on Duncan Robinson to be that lone sniper in a sense. because if he didn't do that in Miami very well, he'd probably still be down.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I think they could find some more shooting with this group of guys. And no, that don't mean Isaiah Stewart taking three threes a game, not like that. But I think they can find some more shooting there with this group. I think they'll go a long way for them for the season. But they come a real long way. I'm happy for that because that loser streak can be I won't say death blow for a young team like that, but some young guys don't recover from stuff like that, and some guys are built and tough like that. So give credit to JB Spickerhoff to kind of pick up where Monty Williams kind of left off and kind of build a potential winner in Detroit. So salute to them.
Yeah.
Hopefully they keep this up. They're top of the East right now. Atlanta had no Trae Young. Joel Embiid's in and out the lineup for Philly. Milwaukee has a guard problem. So if you're Detroit, like, damn, if we can just keep this up, I think we'll be looking pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, if you be consistent, I think that right now, you do have, the Cavs and the Knicks. I mean, you got your top teams in the East that's trying to move up, but right now, I mean, like I said, they're soaring up there big time. They can keep it consistent. Like I said, I think you do have a player that could be in an MVP discussion, and the Pistons continue to be consistent. I mean, they might be scary, moving forward. And I think I like the core that they do have. Young group too.
Yes. I think that's the thing. Like, they're all young dudes, maybe except for Dr. Robinson. Isaiah Stewart been there for years, but was a draft pick of them. So I think a lot, besides Dr. Robinson and Tobias Harris being, free agency ads, all the rest of the guys were homegrown dudes. And some dudes that spent some time in the G League too. Ron Holland, for example. So if they can keep this up, play well. And I think the main key is keeping Cade Cunningham healthy. That can go a long way for the Pistons and maybe get a good run to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
So I wish them well, and I like, when it's good, I think it's better for the NBA. Because I think you kind of need that team around that area to kind of go up and be great. And I think that's good for the NBA, in my humble opinion.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree there. Detroit basketball.
And it's ringing loud and clear right now. That's fine. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us here tonight. As you see right there in the picture below, do follow IE Sports Radio on all your social media feeds: X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe to those pages on those social media sites, especially YouTube one. We're trying to get those numbers up as we speak right now. We're at our IE Sports Radio page. Let me pull it up real quick. We're sitting at 413 subscribers. We're on a roll of 500, so do hit that subscribe button and follow us on YouTube there. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, get all the alerts to all the shows in the network. But D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
You guys find me at Black-813. My Magic right now are tied with the Rockets right now. This game looks like it might be going to overtime. Hopefully not. My Bucks had a rough game today, so hopefully we can bounce back next week. Rams Sunday night. Let them niggas find you in the show's page.
You can find the show's page at Fast Break at IESR. That's Fast Break IESR. You follow me on Twitter as Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288 as well. I didn't talk about my Titans today, but they lost as well, so they all four with the force there. And then with your Orlando Magic, Franz Wagner had a big game, 27 points for him thus far. Desmond Bain, 22 points for him.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. And De Silva, he could good guy to have on the team right there. And then Kevin Durant, 33 points for him. Sagoon, 25 points for him thus far. And Amin Thompson, 6 points. Team rebounds for him. And another team that needs a point guard is the Houston Rockets, but we'll talk about that more down the line. But this has been our showtime, ladies and gentlemen. Do follow us on our social media there. Until then, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.